Learning is something you do every day. You learn new facts, places, and names all the time. Some things you learn don't affect you in the future, but a lot of things I've learned this year in MPX will affect me greatly. Skills like investigating based on curiosity, looking at the bigger picture, relating concepts to past or current knowledge, finding similarities or differences from real-life circumstances to content we read, observation, relating large ideas to myself, and time management. One skill I learned was investigating based on curiosity. I am a very curious person, but I feel I don't usually act on this curiosity. One way I learned this year was with the trash day we did combining the STEM and humanities. What we did was we went through bags of trash that we collected from our cafeteria, and we separated them into recyclables, compostables, and trash. So I learned that most of us didn't know a lot about recycling, other than the fact that we knew that cans and bottles were recyclable. I've always been kind of curious about this topic because they always teach you like the 3 R's and stuff like that in elementary school. So I always wondered why no one ever really expanded on that. And so this is the way I learned that. And yeah. Okay, another skill I learned was finding similarities and differences from real life circumstances to content we read. I learned this from our Heroes project. So what we did was we brainstormed what made a hero in the times of the Odyssey and what makes a hero now. And in the times of the Odyssey, heroes were heroes and they knew it and they wanted everyone else to know. And now a lot of heroes are just doing their job or they're just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. So what we did was we took what we've learned from brainstorming and we came up with 3 people. I had a challenge. That was one of my challenges with this project because I knew immediately who I wanted to be my hero. So my problem was finishing my mind map because I wasn't sure who else I could have put. After I finished that, I chose my hero, who was my elementary principal, and then we brainstormed 20 questions for them, and after we peer edited the questions, we interviewed them and we took photos of them, and then we combined them into the template and we presented them at the gallery. And I learned how to find similarities and differences because you had to take what you learned in the Odyssey and take it and think about who did you know who was like this. And so, yeah. I also had a challenge with outlining because I had so many ideas and answers to my questions that I wanted to put it all in, but I didn't have enough room. So, yeah, that was kind of hard. I had to cut out like 3 of my paragraphs. The next skill I learned was relating larger ideas to myself. So in humanities, we played the Scramble for Africa game, and this is a game where you have to like snatch the countries that your country wants. So you're given like guidelines, and you have to follow those guidelines to get the countries that you need. And I related this to myself because of the Berlin Conference, which is where they originally split up Africa, because we were doing the same thing, which was like claiming countries. And I thought about how we both had the same thoughts of, I didn't think about like that there were people living in these places or there were actual like societies going on. And I feel that's the same as it was in the Berlin Conference. So, yeah.
Press that arrows on the bottom.
skill I learned was finding similarities and differences from real life circumstances to the things that we learned. And I learned this through the QC personality test that we did in STEM. The personality test is a series of questions that you answer, and with your answers it comes up with a type of personality, like guardian provider, rational inventor, or in my case, idealist counselor. And idealist counselors have an exceptionally strong desire to contribute to the welfare of others. And this was an excellent way to find similarities and differences because it's describing you, and so not all of it was my personality, so I took what I found and I kind of analyzed through, and I found things like that idealist counselors are blessed with vivid imaginations. They often seen as the most poetic of all types, and in fact they use a lot of poetic imagery in their everyday language, which is one that really relates to me because I've always liked an interest in poetry and kind of art. So, yeah. The last skill I learned was looking at the bigger picture while still focusing on smaller details. And I learned this from our Congo primary sources puzzle, where we were given a bunch of articles, speeches, or letters, and we had to take those letters and organize them in chronological order. This was really hard because there wasn't a lot of information given, and you kind of had to look at the small details, like whether the country, or whether the thing was mentioning war or no war, or who or what was being addressed. And I think that one way that we really finished this was by looking at the bigger picture, because you kind of had to step back a lot of times and just look at everything and see what was similar or what you thought to be important. And we also had to use the smaller details because sometimes we would look at the bigger picture and we would miss a lot, which ended up messing us up a little. And so it was kind of a combination of both, and you had to evenly distribute those. Throughout this semester, I have learned many skills. Some skills that will benefit me in the future, and some that will benefit me in the long run. With these skills, I can become a better learner, and skills like investigating based on curiosity, finding similarities and differences from real life circumstances to content we learn, finding and inventing, and finding similarities and differences to content being read. I think that these skills especially will help me in MPX for second semester because they've helped me so much in first semester. But I also think that I can improve on a lot of them because just because I have improved over this semester, it doesn't mean that I'm like the best I can be. So, yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
Mostly throughout the presentation, you seemed like you were well prepared, and and also I like how instead of circles, it's rectangles, and it's kind of like cool. You know.
I think you would have done okay without your iPad.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
Focus on your script and look.
Yeah. I think if you just let it go, I think it would be fine. Yeah. Other questions or comments, folks? What are two things you think you need to work on more for second semester?
Well, I didn't mention these, but I think that I can work a little more on like solving conflicts in groups because my group is kind of known to argue and have a lot of disagreements, and I think that a lot of times I just kind of walk away. So I think that I should work on kind of staying and arguing, talking out the conflict instead of
Good.
And also I think I can improve on time management because I get my work done, but I feel like I leave it till the last minute to do it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You never do that.
All right. Thank you.